Edwin Obuya in the house.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning. Sitting side by side with Philip Mruto.
Himself.
And I see mtu wenyu wako andasieke.
Hey, bwana.
Papa Francis.
Papa Francis. My ango.
Yeah. Ako andasieke. Kwani alifanyaje?
Ni kama Ruto na Gashago wakusahau. Wenye alikuwa anatukanana. And they are going for him. They are sponsoring a bill to limit the number of years a person can serve at the helm of unions. That's one. Two, is hearing some orders that are not based on any law. That security officers should not be remitting their money to a trade union. A trade union, a person joins willingly, and the government cannot force me not to join or to join. So if I want to leave, I will leave as a person willingly.
Yeah.
But all these are just I want to feel that these are just efforts to try and frustrate the big man. He has been there for 23 years. He has been, he's still very young.
And
just like
Uhuru was saying. They want him.
Yes.
They need him.
Yes.
He does not struggle to stay there.
The union still want him. They still demand that he leads them.
Yes.
And so I didn't expect to see this after Atwoli changed tune very fast after they lost the 2022 elections, because he surprised many who were supporting the opposition, because I think he was among the first person to get to wave the white towel and say,
we support.
tumeshindwa wacha to support President William Ruto.
Allah.
And that's how he has survived all along.
Yes.
He's never been a person that has been opposing the government that of the day, but it seems that this government does not feel like he deserves to be with them. So that's why they are trying to frustrate him and sponsoring a bill and once you say security officers should not be part of the court union, then security officers are one of the major contributors of the union. And so once they do that, that's how they killed Nat. Nat was a giant.
Yes.
During the Adongo days. Yes, and so once they split it and brought Kupet, so Nat was halved, and that's how they killed the giant that was Nat. So right now hawana sauti, wakiongea huku Kupet wanaongea huko. So it becomes null and void.
What is happening to Atwoli is a case of not every that time you will have people forget easily. I think he's just found a regime that yes, forgave, but it is proving not to be forgetting very, very quickly. So he has a hole to dig himself out of. Although he wears the face of someone who is not shaken,
right?
As is characteristic of him. But of course, it is evident that somewhere he has to look like he's paying for whatever utterances. They say choices have consequences.
Indeed. He could always retire. Sure.
But he's still very young.
76.
Ango is still very young. What do you mean?
Very young. He's just married a third wife. Elections is about convincing people to vote for you. However you do it, whether it's by trying to convince them using a nice language, or convince them using force, or to convince them using money, provided you convince them to give you a vote, you should continue, governing them. I'm one of the people who also think that he has overstayed. He's welcome. 23 years is not a short time. A person who was born 23 years ago,
he's almost outdoing the late Moi in presidency.
Yes. So I think he has overstayed, but I'm not an advocate of the government trying to subdue unions and subdue NGOs, because we saw that when Jubilee, and it was called TNA and URP, when they came into power, they made sure that all these unions and all these NGOs actually are dealt with, and they use the same person who they are trying to use right now. That's Fazul, and Fazul really frustrated the unions and really frustrated the NGOs then, until we lacked alternative voice. You remember the woes that Sosion, former nominated MP, was facing, and he was forced out of the NAT as a union.
Correct.
And so some of these moves might be good for politics at that time, but in the long run, they are not good for our democracy, because our government needs to be checked. If the opposition cannot do it, then the unions must do it.
Yeah.
And the problem for Atwoli is that he doesn't seem to be in good books with the government. He doesn't seem to be in the good books with the opposition.
He's banned both ways.
He doesn't seem to be very good books with the people he represents right now. And so I don't know how it is going to end up. But you don't survive for 23 years, to give up easily.
Correct.
He will do what he needs to be done to survive.
Speaking of surviving, guys, doctors strike. Now he's in day what? Tuko karibu day 40, sio?
The Karibu day 40,
Sio?
yes. Yes.
My goodness, guys.
A month plus.
Oh, yeah, a month plus, and there's no relief in sight.
Now we've resorted to threats and intimidation. We have involved the police. We've seen how they've taken whatever Koome said about the strikes. They have not taken it lightly. I think such scenarios only serve to aggravate the situation even more, because now, more than ever, you've seen KMA are likely to join from today.
That's private doctors, right?
Private doctors, yeah. They are the same doctors who have their private ventures. So if they decide to sanction whoever are left in the private hospitals, then you can imagine what will happen to Kenyans who are now struggling to at least find treatment and medication from the private hospitals. I think it is the wrong way. And I saw somewhere people using former President Uhuru Kenyatta's clip, the one that he was saying, tumewafunza na help, now you are demanding for what we can't, trying to give an impression that these doctors have not sacrificed as much as they want us to believe by maybe going through school for those very many years and spending a lot of money,
right.
Saying that maybe government has played a part in. But it does not change the fact that at some point this government sat down with them and agreed on 1, 2, 3 things that they're supposed to do for them to ensure that they do their work as is supposed. So I do not know where the government, what end game the government intends to achieve with the hard stance, because I have not seen any signs of the doctors relenting either. So it is a matter that we keep watching.
I can assure you in your life you'll never hear a protest by carpenters.
Jeff, you have come too much.
You understand?
The father of Jesus was a carpenter. just so you know.
But you realize he didn't speak much in that book. He was a very quiet guy. Give me one quote from Joseph. One. I'll give you 100K. My point exactly. So when they strike, there is a justification towards it, because not everyone can be a doctor. And why the hard stance? Jeff, you're connected. Why don't you talk to these guys?
At times I wonder, when you see what Koome is saying, you sit back and wonder, what is this?
What's wrong with us?
What is wrong with us?
Yeah.
Is that the best we can get as an IG?
Yeah.
Because every statement he gives out is just a statement that is in bad taste.
Correct.
And that statement that he gave out, saying, they are disturbing patients, they are disturbing, the public.
A public nuisance.
It's a public nuisance. Demonstrations are supposed to be a public nuisance.
Correct.
In its nature.
That's
to
the whole
capture
point.
your attention.
To capture your attention. It's supposed to cause some discomfort
That
on
is
the
the
public. So that the government reacts.
Yes.
And I don't know why there's this hard stance. It is called negotiations, and the CBA is always negotiations. Nipe nikupe. Wewe utasema niko na 70, wewe aseme hapana, hii 70 siwezi chukua, nipatie 206 yangu nilikuwa umenipatia before. Useme hiyo 206 basi chukua hii 150.
Basi.
Alafu 150 wa daktari anasema okay, acha tuchukue 150 lakini in 3 years tufikishie 206
tuongee tena.
So that's how negotiations are done, and for a government to maintain this hard stance, and you know, when you're in Nairobi here and you're not in the slums, or you know, in Shago, where people cannot even afford that 40 bob ya kwenda kununua Panadol, that's when you know that this strike is causing lots and lots of pain on the common mwananchi, because that's the only right now the only hospitals that are operating are the dispensaries where nurses are manning them, because the other hospitals, public hospitals, are not operating. It will be worse if private doctors join them.
And what happens when they run out of drugs, when they run out of medicine?
That's now the biggest problem.
Yeah.
Because you can't, the 40 days, you know, common sense must prevail. I know they say common sense, like Nick says, is not common to everybody, but common sense must prevail at some point.
Yeah.
And you just call these people on the table and say, okay, this is it. This is what we have. They tell you, no, we can't accept this. Give us this. At least we see a semblance of negotiations happening. We see a semblance of a solution being tried to be achieved. But as of now, we can't pay.
And your sister Nahumicha is maintaining her hard stance.
Those that would have said, okay, doctors are on strike, but kwa sababu ya our calling, we can weka hii maneno kidogo, they came out and said we can't do this anymore, because the frustration they have is the remittance.
They are giving the services.
They are giving the services. What they depend on is the remittances, the NHIF,
correct,
which are not going through. Catholic churches, we saw the other day, they made noise. The president called them at State House. Was it on Friday or something?
Friday evening.
Yeah, but it has not changed anything.
Yeah.
If money has not been sent, money has not been sent.
Correct.
Where uko mashinani missionary hospitals are, at least you can see missionary hospitals uko mashinani. Those are the remedies that common mwananchi would have run to, but they are also grounded.
Anyway you look at it, guys, it's tragic.
It is tragic.
It's tragic.
Na pesa inaenda wapi? You know, because the taxes are, you know, we are continually being taxed every day.
Yeah.
You can't say that taxes have gone down. They are continually going up.
Correct.
And NHIF you are still paying. Then why is it that the monies are not being remitted? Why is it that the schools are not getting money?
Na kuna watu wanaendelea kutengenezewa nafasi in the government every other day.
Yes.
You will see appointments and employments every other day.
But besides that, there's also the people who just keep plundering. Because, I mean, how many people today are going to court?
We have politicized everything that you can't tell if is it a genuine case, or is it a political case.
Right.
Because you know, and it's not just this government. It has happened over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
It's always as if when you start to criticize the government so much, there's a case pending
on standby,
just like a shadow.
Yeah.
You know,
just activation.
So they just say ACC toilet na inakuja na ita drag just to, you know, slow you down.
Yeah.
Don't attack the government so much. And so we can't really tell, is it a genuine case? Is it a case that was about political witch hunt? Because we were told Gachagwa's case was political witch hunt. We were told former MD KPA was a political witch hunt.
Yes.
We were told all those cases that faced people that are close to President William Ruto are political witch hunt, and they were removed from court one by one. And so should we be surprised if cases are brought in court, cases that are of people who are thought to be against President William Ruto? Should we be surprised if a case is brought against Oparanya, or a case is brought against Joho, or against Mwangi wa Iria?
Yeah.
Because it has happened before. So how sure can we be that this time round is
These
genuine?
are genuine cases.
And what is Kibunja's deal then?
Kibunja na niliambiwa aliiba sijui, na huko kwa museum hakuna kitu.
Ama kwa museum ndio kuna pesa.
There's nothing.
Making a museum be visitable.
They don't make no money. They don't make money.
Unfortunately, the institutional memory we enjoy in this country is that of cartels that will never end, that will never leave those corridors, that anytime a new regime comes, they are the people who organize. how things will run in that regime.
They are the people who
That
brought
is
the regime.
Yes, that is the unfortunate thing, Nick, kwamba the systems are there. Unfortunately, they are manned by these cartels that know what is supposed to be done to amass wealth for themselves.
Ukisikia Rigiji akisema kwa kofi kuna cartels. Because I know there are lots and lots of bright guys who have been doing diplomacy that could have ended up getting those positions.
Mimi I would have done a better job.
Imagine.
Wewe.
At least uko na marriage certificate.
The latest I have added.
And the referee waves play on. Ndovu mianguka. So guys, is Baba going to the AU?
The official declaration of the vacancy, as well as the submission of
submissions,
those that are interested in the position.
Correct.
People are worried that the entrance of foreign minister of Ethiopia,
Djibouti,
may make this an uphill task for Baba. Not necessarily to mean that Baba has no chance, but it just means that if he was sitting pretty, he better up his game because it is not going to be
and
as
adjust
easy
his seat, adjust.
At some point they talked about people presenting their papers to show where they went to school. Did Baba find his?
Now we will know this is the time Baba will prove to the world that he is an engineer.
Baba is a senior citizen. Baba still has a chance. He still has a chance. Actually, a huge chance. But like Murutu says, the entrance of the Djibouti guy might make things a little bit more tricky. Kama kulikuwa na zile votes alikuwa sure nazo, atabidi apige round ingine. Yes.
Hey, maze, Iran. That's dangerous, huh?
Moto.
It is, and somebody was saying that we knew about the Iran war because Arsenal lost. Because if Arsenal had won, the noise would have been too much even to realize that the Iran war is...
I will be too reluctant to get into that discussion.
But it's worrying, Iran is not Palestine. It's not a country that doesn't have, the powers to... Even nuclear power. They claim they have nuclear power and they can use that nuclear power on another country, ostensibly, most probably Israel. Yeah. And we've seen even the president has addressed the issue, condemning the attack. We saw Kalonzo Musyoka issuing a statement condemning the attack. This could potentially lead to a world war.
Absolutely.
Could potentially lead to a world war because Israel has supporters, whether genuine or not, but there are people who support Israel irrespective of what atrocities Israel is alleged to have been doing. Iran will have its supporters, whether they are right or wrong, because they are Iran. There are people who will support them, and it can easily be joined by Russia. It can easily be joined by China, and if that then happened, then we are going to have our own on our hands, because Israel obviously will be supported by countries like USA
France,
and Kenya,
and Germany,
because of the geopolitics of those two countries.
Correct.
Whenever such things happen, you see the ripple effect is that a lot of economies get to feel the heat.
Yeah,
a lot of things get to be affected. That is why I saw a lot of clergy saying that we need to pray for the world. It is no longer a matter left to the warring countries, but it is something that will affect every other person whose economy is tied to these countries that are caught in these particular wars.
Kesho mafuta itapanda tuambiwe ni mafuta ya Iran na Israel.
Correct.
Ama mchele ipande tuambiwe unajua ni vita ya Israel na Iran.
Ndio maana inafaa tuombe so that people don't have excuses whenever they can't do things right. Wanasingizia maneno kama hii.
And just when fuel prices were coming down.
Yes. Just when fuel unfortunately, by the way, it's going to affect us economically and even our relationships and diplomatically. But talking of prayers, unajua jana I was very surprised. On a Monday morning, there was a crusade at KICC attended by a first lady and the second lady.
Both of them.
And we had meetings at KICC and we couldn't listen to the speakers
Because of
because
the crusade.
you know you had to strain to, and the speaker, the chairperson of the meeting was shouting because the crusade, you know, the prayers were.
It's a prayerful nation, my friend.
I don't think praying is bad, but but praying on a crusade on a Monday morning
At
where
KICC.
people are supposed to be working.
Kwani walikuwa wapi Sunday?
Hundreds of offices.
What were they praying for? The fuel prices to go down? What did you hear?
Dollar.
Not dollar. And the band goes,
Oh my goodness.
I went to Akina Jeff's church. It's noisy just like that. I'm not going there again.
Ile ya
Jeff wanampaka church noise kweli. Siao ni
Ainangi kitusuru anatoka na pale. There's that one about Fonyari when you turn left. What's that town called?
Gashie.
Kuna mtu hapa ako na pesa kwa mfuko na nakataa kutoa. Nywele yake inametameta. Ni nani huyo? Jeff is always tomorrow 300 G every Saturday.
yeah, we should pray. We take God for granted at times. We mock God.
We mock God, yeah.
Because some of these things are not you're just supposed to work on them.
Yeah.
You know, to end accidents, just put in measures to make sure that accidents don't occur.
happen, yeah.
You know?
Imagine. You're praying.
Just pray, yes, but also make sure
Do
that
something.
Yes, do something to make sure that these things are not
Yeah.
going to
Don't
happen.
blame NTSA or
Yeah.
don't blame this or don't blame that.
Or blame Satan. Don't.
It's Satan.
Just do what you are supposed to do. and
Correct.
Things will
Like-
change. How was the wedding? Yeah, Teddy. Oh,
I didn't go, but I saw pictures kwa mtandao.
wewe sasa.
Congratulations, Teddy.
Wewe sasa ulituma shilingi.
Lazima.
Bas.
Na-
It was a nice.
Na Yannick.
Nick.
It's a bit exclusive. You guys just realized, Allah is married.
So this Saturday, all roads are leading to
To Narok.
Narok.
Bas.
Yes.